You are not tired. You are not unmotivated. You are undisciplined. Every day you wait to feel ready, someone else is moving past you. Every excuse you repeat is another brick in the prison you're building for yourself. This audiobook has one purpose: to eliminate hesitation and replace it with action. Not tomorrow. Not later. Because winners don't wait for motivation. They move first. And by the end of this, you will understand one truth clearly. Action creates motivation. Action creates confidence. Action creates results. So stand up, breathe in, and let's get to work. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for motivation. Move first. Feel later. Stop waiting. That's where everything breaks down for you. Not your intelligence. Not your potential. Not your circumstances. Your problem is simple. You keep waiting to feel like doing the work. And that hesitation is costing you years. Let's get something clear right now. Motivation is not a starting point. Motivation is not a requirement. Motivation is a reward. That's the key. You don't get motivation before action. You get motivation after action. But most people never learn this. They sit still. They overthink. They scroll. They wait for the perfect emotional state. And while they wait, life moves on without them. You have a choice. You can keep waiting to feel ready. Or you can move without permission, without confidence, without motivation. Because here is the truth most people avoid. Action creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Action creates motivation. Not the other way around. That's not opinion. That's psychology. That's reality. Look at your own life. Every time you felt motivated, what happened first? You started something small. You made progress. You felt momentum. You didn't wake up inspired. You woke up and moved. But somewhere along the way, you bought the lie. The lie that says, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll do it when I'm motivated. I just need to get in the right mindset. You need to get in the right motion. That's the difference between people who change their lives and people who talk about it. It's not about talent. It's not about confidence. It's not about inspiration. It's about discipline. And discipline does not wait for feelings. Discipline moves first. Say this to yourself out loud if you need to. Do it tired. Do it unsure. Do it anyway. That phrase matters. Because it destroys the excuse loop. Most people don't fail because they can't do the work. They fail because they negotiate with themselves. They wake up. They feel resistance. And instead of acting, they start a conversation. Maybe later. Not today. I'll start tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. You don't need their permission. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't even need your own confidence. You need to move. Let's break this down psychologically. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. It resists effort by default. So when you sit still, your brain invents reasons to stay still. Overthinking. Lack of motivation. Those aren't signs that you shouldn't act. Those are signs that you haven't acted yet. That's the key. Movement sends a signal to the brain. We're doing this. And once that signal is sent, chemistry changes. Focus sharpens. Resistance shrinks. But none of that happens while you wait. Waiting feeds fear. Waiting feeds doubt. Waiting feeds procrastination. Action starves them. That's why ordinary people with no special advantages outperform potential every day. They don't feel ready. They don't feel confident. They move anyway. Think about the person who started waking up early. The first week was brutal. No motivation. No energy. No excitement. But they got up. And after a few days, something shifted. Their body adapted. Their mind adjusted. Momentum kicked in. Motivation followed discipline. Not before. Think about someone who started working out. The first sessions were uncomfortable, embarrassing, awkward. They didn't feel confident. They felt exposed. But they showed up. And over time, confidence grew. Not because they believed harder, but because they proved it to themselves. That's how confidence is built. Evidence, not affirmations. You don't need to believe in yourself. You need to keep promises to yourself. That's it. Every time you act without motivation, you deposit trust into your own identity. Every time you wait, you withdraw from it. You have a choice. You can be the person who waits for feelings, or the person who acts regardless of them. One builds a life. The other builds excuses. Let's be clear about what you must stop doing. Stop checking your emotional state before taking action. Stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" Stop expecting clarity before movement. That's backward. And here's what you must start doing. Decide first. Move second. Let motivation catch up. When resistance shows up, and it will, you don't negotiate. You say, "I don't need to feel ready. I don't need motivation. I don't need permission." You move. Because discipline is not loud. Discipline is not emotional. Discipline is quiet, repetitive, and relentless. It's showing up on bad days. It's acting when no one is watching. It's doing the work before the mood arrives. And that's why it works. Say it again. Do it tired. Do it unsure. Do it anyway. That phrase is not motivational. It's instructional. It removes emotion from the equation. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And habits are built through repetition, especially when you don't feel like it. That's the key. Most people are training themselves to wait. You're training yourself to move. One leads to stagnation. The other leads to momentum. And momentum changes everything. Momentum simplifies decisions. Momentum builds confidence. Momentum creates motivation automatically. But you only get it by starting without motivation. That's the paradox. The thing you're waiting for is on the other side of the thing you're avoiding. Read that again mentally. The motivation you want is on the other side of the action you're resisting. So stop waiting. Get up. Move your body. Start the task. Begin the work. Not perfectly. Not confidently. Not emotionally ready. Just begin. Because once you start, the rest follows. And once you understand this, procrastination loses its power. You no longer ask, "How do I feel?" You ask, "What's the next action?" That's how disciplined people think. And discipline is what separates those who talk from those who build. You've conquered the lie that motivation comes first. You've learned to move without permission. Now it's time to understand what actually sustains action when motivation fades. Chapter 2. Discipline beats feelings every time. Feelings are unreliable. Discipline is permanent. Your feelings will lie to you. They will sound convincing. They will feel urgent. They will feel real. And if you obey them, they will quietly destroy your progress. That's not dramatic. That's accurate. Because feelings are temporary. They change with sleep. They change with stress. They change with weather, food, mood, and momentum. Discipline does not. That's the difference. Feelings are weather. Discipline is climate. That's the key. Weather changes every day. Climate defines the environment. If you build your life around how you feel, your results will be unstable. If you build your life around discipline, your results will be predictable. And predictable results are how winners are made. You have a choice. You can let emotions run your schedule, or you can let discipline run your life. One feels comfortable in the moment. The other works. Let's talk about what most people do. They wake up and check their feelings. How do I feel today? Do I have energy? Am I motivated? Am I in the mood? And if the answer is no, they delay. They skip the workout. They push the task. They postpone the conversation. They wait for a better emotional state. That's not self-care. That's self-sabotage. Because here's the truth. If you only act when you feel good, you lose. Say it again internally. If you only act when you feel good, you lose. But because growth lives outside comfort, progress requires resistance. And resistance does not feel good. The disciplined person understands this. They don't ask how they feel. They ask what needs to be done. That's the shift. Feelings ask questions. Discipline gives commands. And commands create movement. Look at the disciplined executor. They wake up early, not because they feel energized, but because that's the rule. They train, not because they're excited, but because that's the schedule. They work, not because it's easy, but because it's required. They don't romanticize the process. They respect it. Now look at the emotional decision maker. They're inconsistent, brilliant on good days, invisible on bad ones. They call it balance. They call it intuition. They call it listening to themselves. But what they're really doing is obeying comfort. And comfort never builds anything worth keeping. It's not about motivation. It's not about talent. It's not about mood. It's about discipline. That's the key. Discipline does not argue. Discipline does not negotiate. Discipline does not wait for permission. You don't need their permission. You don't need approval. You don't need to feel confident. You need to show up. Let's break this down psychologically. Your brain is wired to avoid discomfort. It prefers the familiar. It protects energy. So when discipline calls for effort, your brain sends emotions as resistance. Laziness. Anxiety. I don't feel like it. Those feelings are not instructions. They are signals. Signals that you're about to grow. The disciplined person recognizes this and moves anyway. The emotional person obeys the signal and stops. That's the fork in the road. Fitness is the clearest example. No one feels like training every day. No one feels excited during the hardest sets. No one feels comfortable pushing limits. Yet the results belong to those who train regardless. Not the most motivated, the most disciplined. Same with work. The professional shows up even when the mood is gone. The amateur waits for inspiration. The professional builds skill. The amateur builds excuses. Same with life. Hard conversations. Difficult decisions. Uncomfortable boundaries. Feelings say avoid. Discipline says handle it. And every time discipline wins, self-respect grows. That's something people don't talk about enough. Discipline builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your identity strengthens. Every time you break one, it weakens. You feel that. You may not name it, but you feel it. Confidence isn't built by hype. It's built by follow-through. That's the key. Now let's get practical. Here's what you must stop doing. Stop using emotions as a decision-making tool. Stop saying, I don't feel like it, as if it's a valid reason. Stop trusting moods more than commitments. Your feelings are data, not commands. And here's what you must start doing. Decide your standards in advance. Set non-negotiables. Create rules that do not change with mood. I train at this time. I work on this task daily. I don't skip twice. No debate. No drama. No discussion. That's discipline. It removes friction. When the decision is already made, there is no internal battle. You simply execute. That's why discipline feels calm. Emotional living feels chaotic. One is stable. The other is exhausting. You have a choice. You can keep riding emotional highs and lows, or you can build a system that carries you through both. The second one wins. Boys, say this and let it sink in. It's not about motivation. It's not about confidence. It's not about mood. It's about discipline. And discipline is trainable. You don't wake up disciplined. You build it through repetition. Small actions, done consistently, especially when you don't feel like it. That's where discipline is forged. Not on good days. On average days. On bad days. Those are the days that count. Because anyone can show up when it's easy. Only disciplined people show up when it's not. And that's why they win. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Every time you obey your feelings over discipline, you are teaching yourself who's in charge. And your brain learns quickly. Give it comfort, and it will demand more. Give it discipline, and it will adapt. That's the key. The brain adapts to standards. Raise the standard, and resistance fades over time. Lower the standard, and weakness grows. So you decide. Not emotionally. Consciously. You decide who runs your life. Feelings. Or discipline. Because one will dominate. There is no neutral. And understand this clearly. Discipline is not punishment. It's freedom. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from regret. Freedom from inconsistency. When discipline is in place, you don't rely on willpower. You rely on structure. And structure creates peace. That's why disciplined people look calm under pressure. They're not guessing. They're not debating. They're following a code. And that code carries them forward when feelings fade. That's the key. So the next time you don't feel like doing the work, pause. Not to negotiate. To decide. And say this. I act based on standards, not moods. I move whether I feel like it or not. I don't need permission. The next. Because discipline beats feelings. Every time. You've learned to move without motivation. You've learned to act without emotion. Now it's time to confront the behavior that quietly destroys momentum. The habit that breaks self-trust. The delay that feels harmless, but isn't. Chapter 3. Procrastination is self-betrayal. Stop breaking promises to yourself. Procrastination is not a time problem. It's not a motivation problem. It's not even a laziness problem. It's a trust problem. Every time you say you'll do something, and you don't, you damage your relationship with yourself. Quietly. Incrementally. But permanently, if it continues. That's the part no one tells you. Procrastination isn't about the task. It's about identity. And every delay sends a message. I can't rely on myself. That's the key. Most people think procrastination is harmless. They say, I'll do it later. They say, it's not urgent. They say, I'll get to it tomorrow. But what they're really doing is teaching their brain a rule. A dangerous rule. That their word doesn't matter. You have a choice. You can keep postponing and weakening self-trust. Or you can act and rebuild it. One leads to regret. The other leads to power. Let's be precise here. Every time you delay, you vote against the person you want to become. Say it again internally. Every time you delay, you vote against the person you want to become. And votes compound. You don't become who you want in one decision. You become who you want through repeated alignment. Or repeated betrayal. There is no neutral. Procrastination feels small in the moment. But it stacks. One avoided email. One skipped workout. One postponed conversation. Each one whispers the same thing. I don't do what I say I'll do. Over time, that whisper becomes your identity. And once identity shifts, behavior follows. That's the real cost of procrastination. Not lost time. Lost self-respect. That's the key. Let's break down what's actually happening psychologically. When you commit to something, your brain registers a promise. When you delay, your brain registers a break. Enough breaks, and your brain stops believing you. So the next time you set a goal, there's no internal urgency, no internal authority, because you've trained yourself to ignore your own commands. That's why procrastinators struggle with confidence. It's not about ability, it's about credibility with themselves. You don't trust you, and trust is built the same way it's broken, through action or inaction. Now listen carefully. Procrastination is not rest. Procrastination is avoidance. Rest is intentional and restorative. Procrastination is passive and corrosive. Rest says, I'll return stronger. Procrastination says, I'll escape responsibility. Huge difference. And disciplined people know it. They rest on purpose. They act on schedule. They don't drift. You don't need their permission to change this. You don't need approval. You don't need to feel ready. You need to stop lying to yourself. Because every time you say, later, your future pays the price. Think about the things you regret. They're not the things you tried and failed at. They're the things you avoided. The conversations you didn't have. The opportunities you didn't pursue. The habits you didn't build. Those avoided actions don't disappear. They accumulate. And one day, they show up as regret. That's the math. Small delays multiplied by time equal a life that feels smaller than it should. That's the key. Now let's talk about discipline. Because procrastination isn't about laziness. It's about discipline. It's not about time management. It's about self-management. It's not about knowing what to do. It's about doing what you know. And discipline is the bridge. Discipline says, we act now. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it's boring. Even when it's inconvenient. Especially then. Because those moments define you. You have a choice. You can keep choosing short-term comfort. Or you can choose long-term self-respect. Only one compounds. Here's what you must stop doing. Stop pretending that delay is harmless. Stop bargaining with yourself. Stop saying tomorrow when you mean never. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And here's what you must start doing. Shrink the action. Not the commitment. The action. Procrastination thrives on overwhelm. Discipline thrives on clarity. You don't need to finish everything. You need to start something. One email. One page. One rep. One step. Momentum is born from movement. That's the key. The moment you begin, resistance weakens. The moment you act, identity strengthens. Say this to yourself. I keep promises to myself. Then prove it immediately. Because discipline is not a thought. It's an action. Now let's address the excuse that keeps people stuck. I work better under pressure. No, you don't. You work under pressure because you created it through delay. That's not productivity. That's stress addiction. And stress is not a strategy. Disciplined people don't rely on last-minute urgency. They rely on standards. Standards say, I act when I say I will. I don't negotiate with avoidance. I don't need permission. That's the key. And understand this. Every time you follow through, even on something small, you rebuild trust. Every completed task is a vote for the person you're becoming. Read that again internally. Every completed task is a vote for the person you're becoming. This is how identity is rebuilt. Not through motivation. Not through inspiration. Through consistency. Small wins. Repeated daily. That's discipline. And discipline replaces weakness. Not overnight, but inevitably. Now here's the hard truth. No one is coming to hold you accountable. No one is going to save you from delay. That responsibility is yours. You have a choice. You can betray yourself quietly every day. Or you can become someone you respect. And respect is built through follow-through. That's the key. So the next time you feel the urge to delay, pause. Not to negotiate. To decide. Ask yourself one question. Who am I voting for right now? And then act accordingly. Because the cost of procrastination is not time. It's identity. And identity determines destiny. You've learned that motivation doesn't come first. You've learned that discipline beats feelings. You've learned that delay is self-betrayal. Now it's time to focus on the part of the day where discipline is either won or lost. The moment that sets the tone for everything that follows. You've stopped breaking promises to yourself. Now you must learn to start your day like someone who keeps them. Chapter 4. Your morning decides your life. Win the morning or chase the day. Your day is decided before it begins. Not at noon. Not after work. Not when things go wrong. It's decided in the first moments after you wake up. That's the truth most people avoid. Because mornings expose who's really in control. Your discipline. Or your impulses. How you start is how you live. That's the key. The first hour of your day sets your nervous system. It sets your focus. It sets your identity. And once that tone is set, the rest of the day follows it. People who lose their mornings spend the rest of the day reacting. People who win their mornings spend the rest of the day executing. You have a choice. You can wake up and drift. Or you can wake up and decide. One creates momentum. The other creates chaos. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they start the day in surrender. They hit snooze. They check their phone. They scroll other people's lives before touching their own. And without realizing it, they give away authority. That's the key. The moment you let the world speak to you before you act for yourself, you're already behind. Your brain learns the pattern. React first. Decide later. And that pattern repeats all day. Emails dictate your focus. Messages dictate your mood. Urgencies dictate your priorities. You spend the day chasing instead of leading. But disciplined people do it differently. They don't negotiate with mornings. They don't ask how they feel. They don't wait for energy. They don't need permission. They move. Because mornings are not about comfort. They're about control. Let's break this down psychologically. When you wake up, your brain is highly suggestible. Your nervous system is setting baseline levels for stress, focus, and alertness. Whatever you do first becomes the template. If the first thing you do is avoid, your brain stays in avoidance. If the first thing you do is consume, your brain stays reactive. If the first thing you do is move with intention, your brain locks into execution. That's the key. You are teaching your brain how to operate today. And it learns fast. So when people say, "I'm unfocused all day," or "I feel overwhelmed," or "I just react to everything," the answer is simple. Look at their morning. How you start is how you live. Say it again. How you start is how you live. Now let's get brutally clear. Winning the morning does not require a perfect routine. It requires discipline. Simple, strict, repeatable. 3 rules. Wake up. Decide. No negotiation. Wake up means you get out of bed when the alarm goes off. Not 5 minutes later. Not after snoozing. Because snoozing is a decision. It's a decision to delay. It's a decision to obey comfort. It's a decision to practice weakness. That sounds harsh, but it's accurate. The first promise of the day is to yourself. Break it, and the tone is set. That's the key. Next, move. You don't need a full workout. You don't need perfection. You need motion. Push-ups. Anything that elevates your body. Movement tells your nervous system, we're active. we're in control. It clears fog. It reduces anxiety. It creates presence. And most importantly, it builds momentum. Then decide. Before the world gets a vote, you decide who you are today. What matters today? What must be done today? What will not be negotiated today? One priority. One standard. Not 10 goals. Not chaos. Clarity. That's discipline. And discipline compounds. You have a choice. You can let your morning be accidental, or you can make it intentional. One leads to drift. The other leads to direction. Now let's talk about what you must stop doing. Stop checking your phone first thing in the morning. Stop consuming before creating. Stop starting the day in reaction mode. That's not harmless. It trains your brain to seek stimulation instead of purpose. And here's what you must start doing. Protect the first hour. Not perfectly. Consistently. Even 20 minutes of intentional action beats an hour of scrolling. That's the key. People say, "I'm not a morning person." That's not true. You're just undisciplined in the morning. And discipline is trainable. It's not about your chronotype. It's not about genetics. It's about standards. You don't rise early because you enjoy it. You rise early because that's who you've decided to be. And identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as someone who wins the morning, actions follow. But when you see mornings as optional, everything becomes optional. Your habits, your focus, your standards, and optional discipline never lasts. That's the key. Let's look at the difference this makes over time. The person who wins the morning feels ahead all day. They've already accomplished something. They've already kept a promise. That creates calm confidence. The person who loses the morning feels behind all day. They rush. They react. They play catch up. Same hours. Same opportunities. Different start. Different life. And understand this. You don't win the morning once. You win it daily. This is not a motivational challenge. It's a lifestyle decision. Because how you start one day becomes how you start most days. And how you start most days becomes how you live. That's the key. Now here's the resistance you'll feel. I'll start tomorrow. I just need more sleep. I'll ease into it. Those are not needs. Those are negotiations. And discipline doesn't negotiate. You don't need their permission. You don't need validation. You don't need to feel inspired. You need to act. So tomorrow morning, no, today, do this. When the alarm goes off, get up. Feet on the floor. No debate. Move your body, even briefly. Then decide the one thing that defines success today. And do it early, because mornings are about leverage. Win early and the rest follows. Lose early and you spend the day recovering. That's the key. And don't miss this. Morning discipline spills into everything else. If you can beat comfort at 6 a.m., you can beat it at the gym. You can beat it at work. You can beat it in hard conversations. But if comfort wins first thing in the morning, it will keep winning all day. You have a choice. Win the morning, or chase the day. One puts you in control. The other puts you in reaction. And control is the foundation of discipline. You've learned that motivation comes after action. You've learned that discipline beats feelings. You've learned that procrastination destroys self-trust. Now you understand where discipline is either installed or lost every single day. The morning. Lock it down. Because once your morning is disciplined, something powerful happens. You stop quitting halfway through the day. And to make that permanent, you must remove the option to escape. You've learned to start strong. Now you must learn to finish regardless. Chapter 5. Eliminate the option to quit. Burn the escape routes. Most people don't fail because they lack willpower. They fail because they give themselves too many exits. They leave doors open. They keep backup plans. They allow negotiation. And when pressure hits, they escape. That's the pattern. High performers understand something most people ignore. They don't rely on willpower. They remove alternatives. That's the key. Willpower is unreliable. It fluctuates with stress, sleep, mood, and environment. Discipline, when designed correctly, does not. So the question is not, how do I become stronger? The question is, how do I make quitting impossible? You have a choice. You can keep testing your willpower every day. Or you can design your life so discipline wins automatically. One leads to burnout. The other leads to consistency. Let's be clear. If quitting is an option, quitting will happen. Say it again internally. If quitting is an option, quitting will happen. Not because you're weak, because you're human. Humans choose the path of least resistance unless the environment says otherwise. High performers don't fight human nature. They use it. They build systems that force action. They burn the escape routes. Think about history. When armies crossed into enemy territory and burned the boats, they removed retreat. There was no plan B, no exit, no escape, only forward. And something interesting happened. Focus sharpened. Commitment increased. Performance rose. Not because soldiers suddenly became more motivated, because quitting was no longer an option. That's the key. Now bring this back to your life. Look at where you quit. Workouts you skip. Projects you abandon. Habits you take breaks from. Ask yourself honestly, where are you leaving exits open? Because those exits are costing you progress. You don't need their permission to close them. You don't need approval. You don't need to feel confident. You need to act strategically. Let's break this down practically. High performers design their environment to support discipline. They don't rely on morning motivation. They prepare the night before. Clothes laid out. Shoes ready. Gym bag packed. But because every decision point is an opportunity to quit. Remove the decision and you remove the risk. That's the key. If you wake up and have to decide what to wear, you can quit. If everything is ready, momentum carries you. Same with distractions. Your phone is not neutral. It's an escape hatch. Notifications. Endless stimulation. So disciplined people lock it down. They block sites. They silence notifications. They physically move the phone away. Not because they're extreme, because they're serious. If quitting is an option, quitting will happen. Now let's talk about public commitments. Most people keep goals private so they can quit quietly. High performers do the opposite. They add pressure. They tell people. They set deadlines. They create consequences. But because embarrassment is a powerful motivator, and accountability removes escape routes. That's the key. When other people expect you to show up, discipline becomes easier. Not because you care about their opinion, but because quitting now has a cost. You don't need their permission, but you can use their presence. That's strategy. Now here's the deeper psychology. When you give yourself options, your brain scans for comfort. When you remove options, your brain looks for solutions. That's the shift. Too many options create hesitation. Fewer options create action. That's why routines work. Not because they're exciting, because they're limiting. And limits create focus. You have a choice. You can keep your life flexible and inconsistent. Or you can make it structured and effective. One feels free in the moment. The other creates freedom long-term. That's the key. Now let's talk about what you must stop doing. Stop giving yourself outs. Stop saying, I'll try. Stop planning backup plans for discipline. Trying is an escape route. Backup plans are escape routes. They signal to your brain that quitting is acceptable. And your brain listens. Here's what you must start doing. Create non-negotiables. Specific. Binary. I train on these days. I work at this time. I don't skip twice. No emotional clauses. No exceptions based on mood. Discipline does not care how you feel. It cares what you do. It's not about motivation. It's not about confidence. It's not about intensity. It's about discipline. That's the key. And discipline is built by removing choice. People misunderstand discipline. They think it means forcing yourself every day. It doesn't. It means designing your life so the right action is the default. Less thinking, more executing. That's why disciplined people look calm. They're not debating with themselves all day. They already decided. Decision fatigue kills consistency. Structure preserves it. Now listen carefully. Eliminating the option to quit does not mean being reckless. It means being intentional. You don't quit because you're tired. You don't quit because it's uncomfortable. You don't quit because it's boring. You only stop if it's strategic. And most of the time, it's not. Most quitting is emotional. Discipline neutralizes emotion. You don't need their permission to do this. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You need standards. Standards say, this is who I am. Excuses say, this is how I feel. One builds identity. The other erodes it. You have a choice. Be the person who negotiates, or the person who executes. And remember this. Every time you remove an escape route, you strengthen discipline. Every time you close a door, focus increases. Every time you say, no quitting, self-respect grows. That's the compounding effect. Now let's address the fear underneath quitting. Fear of failure. Fear of discomfort. Fear of looking bad. Quitting feels like protection, but it's an illusion. Quitting doesn't protect you. It delays growth. And delayed growth becomes regret. That's the key. Discipline feels hard up front. Regret feels hard forever. So choose your hard. Eliminate the option to quit. Burn the boats. Make forward the only direction. Because when quitting is impossible, something powerful happens. Fear loses leverage. Doubt quiets down. Action becomes automatic. You stop asking, should I? And start asking, what's next? That's discipline at work. You've learned to win the morning. You've removed escape routes. You've stopped relying on willpower. Now you're ready to confront the thing that disappears the moment you move. The thing that only survives in stillness. You've eliminated quitting. Now it's time to eliminate fear. Chapter 6, Action Shrinks Fear. Fear survives only in stillness. Fear is not as powerful as you think. It just feels powerful because you keep feeding it. Fear does not grow from danger. Fear grows from stillness. From thinking. From imagining. From waiting. That's the key. The moment you stop moving, fear steps in to fill the space. It talks. It exaggerates. It predicts failure. And if you listen long enough, it convinces you to do nothing. But here is the truth. Fear cannot survive motion. Say it with me internally. Motion kills fear. Motion kills doubt. That's the key. Fear lives in your head. Action lives in your body. And the body always overrides the mind when it moves. You have a choice. You can sit still and let fear grow. Or you can move and watch it shrink. One feeds anxiety. The other builds courage. Let's be clear about something important. Fear is not a sign you shouldn't act. Fear is a sign you're about to grow. Every meaningful step forward triggers fear. New job. New habit. New conversation. New version of you. Fear shows up to test your commitment. Not to stop you, unless you let it. That's the key. Most people wait for fear to disappear before they act. That never happens. Fear does not leave first. Action comes first. And once action begins, fear loses leverage. Think about public speaking. Before you speak, fear is loud. Heart racing. Thoughts spiraling. But the moment you step up and start talking, something shifts. Breathing stabilizes. Focus sharpens. Fear quiets. Not because the situation changed. Because you moved. Same with starting a project. Before you begin, everything feels overwhelming. Too many steps. Too many risks. But once you open the document, once you write the first line, once you take the first step, fear starts to shrink. Motion kills fear. Motion kills doubt. Same with hard conversations. You replay it in your head. You imagine worst-case outcomes. You delay. But once you speak the truth, calmly, directly, fear fades. Relief replaces anxiety. Because fear feeds on avoidance. That's the key. Now let's break this down psychologically. Fear is your brain's threat detection system. It's designed to keep you safe, not successful. It reacts to uncertainty as danger. So when you stand at the edge of growth, your brain panics. It sends signals. What if it goes wrong? What if you fail? What if you look stupid? Those thoughts feel real, but they are not commands. They are noise. And noise disappears when action begins. Because movement signals safety. Movement tells the brain, we're handling this. That's why disciplined action calms anxiety better than reassurance. You don't need their permission to act. You don't need certainty. You don't need confidence. You need to move. Now here's where people get stuck. They try to think their way out of fear. They analyze. They plan. They prepare endlessly. Preparation feels productive. But too much preparation is just fear in disguise. Thinking does not reduce fear. Action does. That's the key. It's not about courage. It's not about confidence. It's not about eliminating fear. It's about discipline. It's not about fearlessness. It's about movement. Say it clearly. It's not about fear. It's about discipline. And discipline acts despite fear. You have a choice. You can wait until fear feels manageable. Or you can move while fear is present. One keeps you stuck. The other sets you free. Here's what you must stop doing. Stop trying to eliminate fear before acting. Stop asking, what if? Stop rehearsing failure in your head. Those habits strengthen fear. And here's what you must start doing. Act at the first signal of fear. Not recklessly. Deliberately. Fear means you're facing something meaningful. So move. Send the email. Make the call. Start the task. Speak the truth. Small motion is enough. You don't need to leap. You need to step. Momentum handles the rest. That's the key. Now let's talk about doubt. Doubt is fear's partner. Doubt says, you're not ready. You're not good enough. You should wait. Doubt sounds intelligent, but it's just fear wearing logic. And doubt disappears the same way fear does. Through motion. Motion kills fear. Motion kills doubt. Every time you act, you gather evidence. Evidence that you can handle discomfort. Evidence that you can survive uncertainty. Evidence that you're capable. Confidence is built from evidence, not reassurance. And evidence only comes from action. That's the key. Now listen carefully. Fear will never stop showing up. New levels bring new fears. The goal is not to become fearless. The goal is to become someone who moves anyway. That's discipline. Discipline does not wait for fear to leave. It moves with fear in the passenger seat. And the more you do this, the quieter fear becomes. Not because it's gone, but because it's been demoted. It no longer drives. You do. You don't need their permission to do this. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You need standards. Standards say, I move when it's uncomfortable. Excuses say, I'll wait. One builds strength. The other builds regret. You have a choice. Every moment fear appears, you choose. Or move. And understand this. Fear only wins when you stop. The moment you act, fear begins to lose. That's the key. So the next time fear shows up, and it will, do not argue with it. Do not analyze it. Do not negotiate. Take one step, and then another, because action doesn't just shrink fear. It replaces it with clarity, with confidence, with control. You've learned that quitting is not an option. You've learned that escape routes must be burned. You've learned that fear thrives in stillness. Now you're ready to understand what actually creates confidence. Not hype, not affirmations, evidence. You've learned to move through fear. Now it's time to build proof. Chapter 7. You don't need confidence, you need reps. Confidence is built, not found. Most people are waiting for confidence. They think confidence arrives first. Then action follows. That belief is the trap. Confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes from action. That's the key. If you're waiting to feel confident, you will wait forever. Confidence is not a feeling you discover. It's a byproduct you earn. And it is earned through repetition. Reps first. Confidence later. Say it again. Reps first. Confidence later. That's the key. Let's destroy the myth right now. There is no confident version of you hiding somewhere inside, waiting to be unlocked. There is only the version of you that has done the work, and the version that hasn't. That's it. Confidence is evidence-based. Your brain does not believe affirmations. It believes proof. You can stand in the mirror and say, I am confident 1,000 times. Your brain will respond with one question. Where's the evidence? And if you don't have reps, you don't have evidence. That's the key. This is why motivation fades. This is why hype doesn't last. This is why confidence collapses under pressure. Because it was never built on reps. It was built on emotion. And emotion is unstable. Discipline is stable. It's not about confidence. It's about discipline. You have a choice. You can chase confidence, or you can build evidence. One keeps you stuck. The other makes you dangerous. Look at beginners and experts. They feel the same fear. Let that sink in. Experts are not fearless. They are familiar. They've seen the situation before. They've survived it before. They've repeated it before. That's the only difference. Same fear. Different repetition count. That's the key. The beginner thinks, I'm scared, so I'm not ready. The expert thinks, I've done this scared before. Confidence is not courage. It's familiarity. And familiarity is built by reps. You don't need their permission to start. You don't need approval. You don't need validation. You need reps. Now let's get practical. Why do people avoid reps? Because reps expose weakness. The first rep is awkward. The first rep is uncomfortable. The first rep shows you how far you have to go. And the ego hates that. The ego wants to feel capable without earning it. That's why people quit early. But discipline doesn't care about ego. Discipline cares about standards. And the standard is simple. Show up. Repeat. Improve. That's the key. Here's what you must stop doing. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop measuring confidence before you act. Stop quitting because you feel awkward. Awkward is the price of entry. And here's what you must start doing. Track reps, not feelings. Did you show up? Did you do the work? Did you complete the rep? That's the scoreboard, not mood. Not motivation. Not confidence. Reps. Reps first. Confidence later. Now listen carefully. Confidence is a lagging indicator. It shows up after consistent action. If you look for it too early, you'll think you're failing. You're not failing. You're building. That's the key. Let's apply this to real life. Public speaking. The confident speaker is not special. They've just spoken more times. They've bombed. They've stumbled. They've recovered. Each rep rewired their nervous system. Your brain learns through exposure. The more reps you do, the less your brain panics. Because repetition signals safety. Same with fitness. The confident lifter was once weak. Same with business. The confident entrepreneur was once clueless. Same with discipline. The consistent person was once inconsistent. The difference? They didn't stop at discomfort. They stayed long enough to build evidence. You have a choice. You can quit when it feels hard. Or you can repeat until it feels normal. One creates confidence. The other creates excuses. That's the key. Now let's talk about why affirmations fail. Affirmations try to overwrite reality. Reps create reality. Your brain does not respond to words. It responds to patterns. If the pattern is avoidance, your identity becomes someone who avoids. If the pattern is action, your identity becomes someone who handles things. Identity follows behavior, not the other way around. That's the key. You don't become confident and then act. You act, and confidence catches up. Quietly, without announcement. One day you realize, this doesn't scare me like it used to. That's how it works. Not instantly. Not dramatically. Gradually. Through reps. Now here's where discipline replaces weakness. Weakness says, I'll do it when I feel confident. Discipline says, I'll do it even when I don't. And discipline always wins long term. Because discipline builds proof. Proof builds belief. Belief builds confidence. That's the chain. Break it anywhere and you stay stuck. You don't need their permission to do this. You don't need encouragement. You need a system. A system of reps. Decide the minimum rep you will do daily. Non-negotiable. One call. One page. One workout. One conversation. Consistency matters more than intensity. That's the key. Now understand this. Confidence is not permanent. It decays without reps. Stop practicing and doubt returns. That's why discipline is forever. You don't earn confidence once. You maintain it through continued action. This is why high performers stay humble. They know confidence is rented, and rent is due every day. Reps first. Confidence later. Say it again. Reps first. Confidence later. That's the key. So if you feel insecure right now, that means you're at the beginning. That means reps are available. And reps are power. You don't fix insecurity by thinking. You fix it by doing. And again. And again. Until your brain has no choice but to believe. You have a choice. You can keep searching for confidence. Or you can start collecting evidence. One is fantasy. The other is discipline. You've learned that fear shrinks with action. You've learned that confidence grows with reps. Now it's time to confront the biggest illusion holding people back. The belief that they have time. You don't. Chapter 8. Focus is a daily decision. Protect your attention like your future depends on it. Focus is not a personality trait. It's not talent. It's not luck. Focus is a decision. A daily decision. And most people are losing their future one distraction at a time. That's the key. We live in the most distracted era in human history. Endless notifications. Endless scrolling. Endless noise. And people wonder why they feel anxious, scattered, and behind. It's not about intelligence. It's about discipline. Focus is no longer normal. Focus is rare, which means focus is now a competitive advantage. What you focus on, you become. Say it again. What you focus on, you become. That's the key. Your brain is shaped by what it repeatedly attends to. Neuroscience is clear on this. Attention strengthens neural pathways. Distraction weakens them. You don't rise to your potential. You sink to your focus level. That's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're distracted. And distraction is not an accident. It's engineered. Apps are designed to hijack your dopamine system. Notifications are designed to interrupt your thinking. Content is designed to keep you consuming, not creating. If you don't protect your attention, someone else will steal it. You have a choice. You can guard your focus, or you can donate it to things that don't matter. One builds a future. The other builds regret. That's the key. Let's be direct. Every time you check your phone without intention, you weaken your ability to focus. Every time you multitask, you train your brain to be shallow. Every time you switch tasks impulsively, you lose momentum. Focus is fragile. And once it's broken, it takes time to rebuild. This is why shallow work feels easy, and deep work feels exhausting. Your brain has been trained for distraction. But training can be reversed. That's the key. Now let's talk behavior. What must you stop doing? Stop starting your day with your phone. Stop reacting to notifications like they're emergencies. Stop consuming content the moment boredom appears. Boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is the doorway to focus. When you remove stimulation, the mind sharpens. When you drown it in noise, it dulls. You don't need their permission to unplug. You don't need approval to protect your time. You need discipline. What must you start doing? Start deciding in advance what deserves your attention. Start setting boundaries around your focus. Start creating blocks of uninterrupted time. Focus is not found. It's defended. That's the key. Here's a hard truth. If you don't choose what to focus on, you'll focus on whatever is loudest. And loud rarely means important. Urgent does not mean valuable. Popular does not mean meaningful. What you focus on, you become. If you focus on drama, you become reactive. If you focus on comparison, you become insecure. If you focus on progress, you become powerful. Attention shapes identity. That's the key. Let's talk about phones. Your phone is not neutral. It is a weapon against focus if left unmanaged. Notifications fragment your thinking. Scrolling trains impulsivity. Constant input kills original thought. You don't need to throw your phone away. You need to control it. Remove non-essential notifications. Set specific times for consumption. Keep your phone physically away during deep work. This is not extreme. This is necessary. High performers don't rely on self-control. They design environments that support focus. It's not about willpower. It's about discipline. Now listen carefully. Focus is not about doing more things. It's about doing fewer things better. Depth beats speed. Clarity beats chaos. Most people are busy but ineffective. Motion without focus is wasted energy. That's the key. When you focus deeply, something powerful happens. Time slows down. Quality increases. Confidence grows. But because your brain is doing what it was designed to do. Single task. Solve. Multitasking is a myth. Your brain doesn't multitask. It switches. And every switch costs energy. That's why you feel tired but accomplish nothing. Focus conserves energy. Distraction drains it. You have a choice. You can scatter your attention. Or you can concentrate it. One leads to burnout. The other leads to mastery. What you focus on, you become. Say it again. What you focus on, you become. That's the key. Now let's talk about consumption loops. Endless videos. Endless opinions. Endless advice. Consumption feels productive. It's not. It's avoidance disguised as learning. At some point, you don't need more information. You need execution. Information without action creates anxiety. Action creates clarity. So here's a rule. Create before you consume. Every day. Even if it's small. One page. One idea. One rep. Creation strengthens focus. Consumption weakens it. That's the key. Discipline is choosing long-term gain over short-term stimulation. Discipline is saying no to noise. Discipline is understanding that attention is finite. Where you place it determines who you become. You don't need their permission to be focused. You don't need validation for being unavailable. You're not missing out. You're locking in. Now let's lock this lesson in. Focus is not something you have. It's something you practice. Daily. Intentionally. Without negotiation. If you treat focus casually, your life will reflect that. If you treat focus seriously, everything changes. Because focus compounds. Small daily decisions. Massive long-term impact. You've learned how fear shrinks with action. You've learned how confidence grows with reps. You've learned how focus shapes identity. Now it's time to confront the silent force draining your life without permission. The constant need to explain yourself. You've protected your attention. Now you must protect your energy. Chapter 9. Do the hard thing first. Attack resistance immediately. The hard thing is never the problem. Avoiding it is. That's the key. Every day you wake up with a list. And on that list, there is one task you don't want to touch. The call. The workout. The uncomfortable decision. The work that requires thinking. You know exactly what it is. And every day, most people do the same thing. They avoid it. They start with the easy stuff. They answer messages. They scroll. They clean. They stay busy. Busy feels productive. But it's a lie. Avoidance drains energy. Action creates energy. That's the key. The hardest task carries the most resistance. And resistance is where growth lives. When you delay the hard thing, it doesn't disappear. It waits. It sits in your mind. It creates tension. It steals focus. That one avoided task quietly taxes your entire day. This is psychological. Your brain hates unfinished business. It keeps looping back to it. It keeps you distracted. That's why procrastination feels heavy. You're carrying the weight of what you refuse to face. You have a choice. Face it now. Or carry it all day. That's the key. Let's be blunt. Easy now equals hard later. Hard now equals easy later. Say it again. Easy now equals hard later. Hard now equals easy later. This is a universal law. Avoid the workout now. Your body pays later. Avoid the conversation now. Your stress grows later. Avoid the work now. The deadline becomes brutal later. Pain delayed compounds. Discomfort faced dissolves. That's the key. High performers understand this. They don't start their day with what feels good. They start with what feels heavy. They eat the frog. The hardest thing first. Because once the hardest thing is done, everything else feels lighter. Momentum shifts. Confidence increases. Your nervous system relaxes. You stop running. You start leading. That's the key. Now let's talk about resistance. Resistance is not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's proof you're on the right one. Resistance shows up before growth, before change, before breakthroughs. Your brain is wired to conserve energy. Hard tasks threaten comfort, so your mind creates excuses. I'll do it later. I need to be in the right mood. I'll start after one more thing. Those are lies. You don't need their permission to start. You don't need motivation. It's not about fear. It's about discipline. That's the key. Here's the rule. If something feels important and uncomfortable, it goes first. Boys. Not after coffee. Not after checking messages. Not after warming up. First. This trains your identity. You become someone who doesn't flinch. Someone who moves toward resistance. Someone who keeps promises to themselves. Every time you do the hard thing first, you vote for the person you want to become. Every time you avoid it, you vote against them. You have a choice. Now let's make this practical. What must you stop doing? Stop starting your day reactively. Stop letting small tasks steal your prime energy. Stop negotiating with resistance. Negotiation is how discipline dies. What must you start doing? Start identifying the single hardest task the night before. Start your day with it. Start before your mind can object. This is not about perfection. It's about priority. That's the key. Here's how you execute. At the end of each day, write one sentence. Tomorrow, the hard thing is understand. One thing, not 10. What? When you wake up, you don't check your phone. You don't check messages. You don't check news. You attack the hard thing. Immediately. Before the world gets a vote. Because once the world gets involved, resistance multiplies. You have a choice. Now let's talk about momentum. Momentum is not built by doing many things. It's built by doing the right thing. When you complete the hardest task early, your brain releases relief, dopamine, confidence, control. The rest of the day rides that wave. Work feels easier. Decisions feel clearer. Stress drops. That's not motivation. That's chemistry. That's the key. Compare two people. Person A starts with easy tasks. They feel productive for an hour. But the hard task hangs over them. Energy leaks all day. Person B starts with the hard task. It's uncomfortable. They want to quit. But they finish. And suddenly, everything else feels manageable. Same day. Different order. Completely different outcome. Easy now equals hard later. Hard now equals easy later. That's the key. Now let's talk about fear again. The hard thing often carries fear. Fear of failure. Fear of discomfort. Fear of judgment. But fear exaggerates in the mind. It shrinks in action. You already know this. Every time you finally do the thing you've been avoiding, you say the same words. That wasn't as bad as I thought. That's because fear lives in anticipation, not execution. Action exposes fear as weak. Motion kills doubt. You don't need confidence. You need movement. That's the key. Discipline is choosing discomfort now to avoid suffering later. Discipline is not heroic. It's repetitive. Day after day. Hard thing first. Even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because feelings are unreliable. Discipline is permanent. Now listen closely. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If your habit is avoidance, your life shrinks. If your habit is confrontation, your life expands. It's not about talent. It's not about intelligence. It's about order. What goes first? That's the key. Now lock this in. The hard thing will never get easier by waiting. Waiting feeds resistance. Action starves it. Every morning, resistance asks a question. Will you run or will you lead? Your answer determines your future. You have a choice. Attack resistance immediately. Do the hard thing first. And watch how quickly your life reorganizes itself around discipline. You've learned how to focus. You've learned how to confront resistance. Now it's time to eliminate the noise that pulls you backward. The opinions, the explanations, the need to justify. You've mastered action. Now you must master restraint. Chapter 10: Consistency beats intensity. Show up even when it's boring. Intensity feels powerful. Consistency builds power. That's the key. Most people don't fail because they don't try hard. They fail because they don't stay long. They surge. They burn hot. They crash. Then they repeat the cycle and call it starting over. That's not growth. That's emotional addiction. Real change is quieter than you think. Consistency doesn't shout. It shows up every day, especially on the days that feel average. Average days, repeated relentlessly, create extraordinary lives. That's the key. Intensity is exciting. It gives you a rush. New goals, new plans, new motivation. But intensity is tied to emotion. And emotions are unreliable. Discipline is not. You already know this. You've seen people go all in for a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. Then life happens. They miss a day, then 2. Then they quit. Not because they can't do it, because they relied on intensity instead of systems. It's not about effort. It's about structure. That's the key. Let's talk psychology. Your brain loves novelty. New things trigger dopamine. But novelty fades fast. When the excitement wears off, only habits remain. And habits are built by repetition, not emotion. Consistency trains identity. When you show up repeatedly, your brain starts to believe, this is who I am. Not because you felt like it, but because you did it anyway. You have a choice. Chase emotional highs, or build discipline lows. One burns out, the other compounds. That's the key. Look at fitness. The person who trains hard once a week gets sore. The person who trains moderately 5 days a week gets results. The body responds to frequency, not drama. Same weight, same movements. Repeated, average days, repeated relentlessly, create extraordinary lives. Look at business. One big push doesn't build momentum. Daily execution does. Emails sent, calls made, work shipped. Not heroic. Consistent. Look at skills. The master is not more talented. They just practiced longer. Same drills. Same basics. Over and over. Reps build skill. Consistency builds mastery. That's the key. Now let's get uncomfortable. Most people secretly love intensity because it gives them an excuse. They go hard. They burn out. They quit. Then they say, I gave it everything. But you gave it emotion. Consistency would require patience, humility, boredom. And boredom scares people. Because boredom removes excuses. When it's boring, you can't hide behind motivation. You either show up, or you don't. You have a choice. That's the key. Let's be direct. If you only show up when you're motivated, you are unreliable. To yourself, to your goals, to your future. It's not about passion. It's about discipline. Stop waiting to feel inspired. Stop chasing intensity. Start honoring commitments, especially small ones. Small promises kept daily rebuild self-trust. Small actions repeated daily rewire identity. That's the key. What must you stop doing? Stop overhauling your life every Monday. Stop setting extreme rules you can't sustain. Stop quitting because the results aren't immediate. What must you start doing? Start setting minimum standards. Start defining non-negotiable actions. Start showing up even when the effort feels unimpressive. Consistency is not flashy, but it's lethal. Now here's how you make this real. You create a floor, not a ceiling. A floor is the minimum you do no matter what. Bad day? You still hit the floor. Tired? You hit the floor. Unmotivated? You hit the floor. Because discipline doesn't negotiate with mood. That's the key. Your floor might be 10 minutes of movement, 1 page written, 1 call made, 1 decision executed. Manageable, repeatable. Over time, the floor becomes automatic. And once it's automatic, you can build on it. Intensity on top of consistency works. Intensity without consistency collapses. Average days, repeated relentlessly, create extraordinary lives. Say it again. Average days, repeated relentlessly, create extraordinary lives. That's the key. Let's talk about boredom again. Boredom is not a signal to quit. It's a signal that discipline is taking over. When the work feels boring, you're no longer driven by novelty. You're driven by identity. That's progress. High performers don't need excitement to execute. They rely on routine. Routine removes decision fatigue. Routine protects focus. Routine creates momentum. You don't need their permission to live a disciplined life. You don't need applause for showing up. Most of the work that changes your life will happen quietly. Unseen. Uncelebrated. Uncomfortable. That's the work that counts. Now let's lock this in. Consistency beats intensity because consistency compounds. 1% improvement stack. Missed days subtract. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. You don't need perfect days. You need repeated days. You have a choice. Be the person who starts strong and disappears, or the person who shows up and stays. One chases feelings. The other builds a future. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. That's the key. You've learned how to act without motivation. You've learned how discipline beats feelings. You've learned how to confront fear, focus your attention, and attack resistance. Now it's time to remove the final leak. The one that drains energy silently. The habit of talking instead of doing. You've built consistency. Now you must build restraint. Chapter 11. Become the person who takes action. Identity drives behavior. Everything you do flows from who you believe you are. That's the key. Not what you want. Not what you plan. Not what you hope. What you do, consistently, comes from identity. Most people ask the wrong question. What should I do? That question keeps them stuck. High performers ask a different question. Who do I act as? That's the key. Because behavior is downstream from identity. If you see yourself as someone who hesitates, you will hesitate. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you will quit. If you see yourself as someone who finishes, you will finish. No motivation required. Identity pulls behavior automatically. You have a choice. You can keep trying to force actions with willpower, or you can upgrade the identity that drives them. One is exhausting. The other is permanent. That's the key. Let's get honest. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they don't see themselves as the type of person who does it. They say things like, "That's just not me. I'm not disciplined. I'm bad at consistency." Those are identity statements. And the brain works hard to prove them true. Every time you repeat an identity, your mind looks for evidence. So if you say, "I procrastinate," your brain will procrastinate. If you say, "I quit when it gets hard," your brain will quit. Not because you're broken, because you trained it. That's the key. Now listen carefully. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your identity. Goals are optional. Identity is automatic. That's why motivation fades. And habits persist. Habits are just identity in action. So here's the shift. Stop obsessing over what you feel like doing. Stop debating options. Start acting as the person you're becoming. Even before you believe it. Especially before you believe it. That's the key. Let's introduce the anchor. I am the kind of person who finishes. Say it. I am the kind of person who finishes. Not someday. Not when it's easy. This is not affirmation fluff. This is identity engineering. Every time you finish a task, even a small one, you reinforce that identity. Every rep matters. Identity is built through evidence. Not talk. Not vision boards. Action. That's the key. Now let's break this down psychologically. Your brain wants consistency. If you act in a way that conflicts with your identity, discomfort appears. That's called cognitive dissonance. Most people resolve that discomfort by changing behavior back to match identity. But disciplined people do the opposite. They change identity through action. They act first. Then the mind catches up. Action leads. Identity follows. That's the key. This is why small wins matter. Not because they move the needle immediately, because they vote for the identity you want. Every completed workout says, I am someone who trains. Every finished task says, I am someone who executes. Every promise kept says, I am someone I can trust. Self-trust is not built emotionally. It's built behaviorally. You have a choice. Break promises to yourself and reinforce weakness. Or keep them and reinforce discipline. That's the key. Now let's talk about what must stop. Stop saying you're trying. Trying is an escape word. Finishers don't try. They execute. Stop labeling yourself with flaws. Stop repeating old identities. Your past behavior does not get to decide your future identity. Only your next action does. You don't need their permission to change who you are. You don't need approval to evolve. You decide. That's the key. Now let's talk about what must start. Start using identity-based language. Not hype. Not emotion. Precision. Instead of saying, I need to work out, you say, I am someone who trains daily. Instead of saying, I should focus, you say, I am someone who protects my attention. Instead of saying, I hope I finish this, you say, I am the kind of person who finishes. Then you act accordingly. Not perfectly, but consistently. Identity does not require perfection. It requires alignment. That's the key. Now let's talk about discipline again. It's not about personality. It's about standards. When identity is clear, decisions become simple. Finishers finish. Movers move. Leaders lead. They don't debate. They don't negotiate. They ask one question. What would someone like me do next? Then they do it. You have a choice. Act like your old identity. Or act like your future one. Every moment is a vote. That's the key. Let's make this practical. Here's a simple exercise. For the next 7 days, pick one identity. Just one. Example. I am the kind of person who finishes. Now choose one small daily action that proves it. Finish one task fully. No half-complete. No delay. Finish it. 7 days. 7 reps. By the end of the week, something shifts. Not externally. Internally. Your self-image upgrades. And once identity shifts, behavior follows automatically. That's not motivation. That's alignment. Now let's talk about why this matters. When identity is weak, life feels hard. You rely on feelings. You rely on circumstances. You rely on luck. When identity is strong, life simplifies. You don't ask, should I? What's next? That's the key. Strong identity removes friction. Decisions become obvious. Standards become clear. You stop negotiating with yourself. And negotiation is where discipline dies. You don't need their permission to live with standards. You don't need applause for being consistent. The reward is internal. Control, clarity, momentum. That's the key. Now let's lock this in. You are not stuck because you lack information. You are stuck because you're acting from an outdated identity. Change the identity. The behavior follows. You don't become disciplined by trying harder. You become disciplined by acting as someone who is. Even when it feels fake. Especially when it feels uncomfortable. Identity is forged in action, not thought. You have a choice. Reinforce who you've been, or build who you're becoming. Every action answers that question. Now you've learned to act without motivation. You've learned to beat feelings with discipline. You've learned to focus, confront resistance, stay consistent, and build identity. There's only one thing left. To close the loop. To stop leaking energy into doubt and delay. To commit fully. No hesitation. No negotiation. You've built the foundation. Now it's time to make the final decision. Chapter 12. No one is coming to save you. Take full responsibility, now. Here's the brutal truth. No one is coming. Not a mentor. Not a guru. Not your boss. Not your friends. Not luck. No one is coming to save you. That's the key. Life doesn't wait. Opportunities don't pause. Time doesn't reset. Waiting is a trap. It's the silent thief of your potential. You've probably felt it before. You've waited for permission. You've waited for the perfect conditions. You've waited for someone to believe in you. And what happened? Nothing. Because nothing comes from waiting. Waiting is disguised as patience. It's celebrated as prudence. But in reality, waiting is procrastination with a fancy name. You have a choice. You can stay in waiting mode. Or you can step up and take what's yours. That's the key. Look around you. Every person you admire has one thing in common. They didn't wait. They acted before they felt ready. They acted before they were approved. They acted before anyone told them they could. They took responsibility. They owned their life. They made it happen. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who spend decades dreaming. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's responsibility. You are the help you've been waiting for. Say it again. You are the help you've been waiting for. And you must mean it. Because no one else is coming. No one else owes you a chance. No one else will carry your weight. If you want change, you must make it yourself. If you want results, you must do the work. If you want respect, you must earn it. This is where most people fail. They wait for external validation. They wait for guidance. They wait for a sign. They wait. Years pass. Dreams fade. Potential dies quietly. It's not dramatic. It's subtle. It's relentless. And it's preventable. You have a choice. Stop waiting. Start acting. That's the key. Let's talk about what this really means. Responsibility is not just doing the obvious things. It's owning your mistakes. It's facing your fears. It's confronting the uncomfortable truth that life doesn't care about excuses. Excuses are a luxury you cannot afford. Excuses steal momentum. Excuses erode confidence. You are the help you've been waiting for. You must act like it. Not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when you feel motivated. Let's break it down with examples. Consider the person who waited for the perfect career opportunity. They stayed in a safe job, collecting a paycheck, dreaming of a promotion that never came. Time passed. The opportunity arrived for someone else. They were left behind. Because waiting is action disguised as hope. or the person who waited for approval to start their business. They needed investors, mentors, certifications. Years passed while the idea sat on a desk. The competitor who acted first built the market. The waiting person has regret. You see the pattern? No one is coming to save you. Your parents, your friends, your teachers, they cannot do it for you. Even the best mentor cannot act in your place. Responsibility is yours alone. You are the help you've been waiting for. Repeat it. You are the help you've been waiting for. And now, let's make it practical. Step 1. Take ownership of your life right now. Stop blaming circumstances. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming your past. Everything you have today, you created. Everything you lack today, you are responsible for. Step 2. Identify one area where you've been waiting. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a relationship. Write it down. Say it out loud. I am responsible for this. Step 3. Take immediate action. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be large. Small steps prove identity. Small steps break the waiting cycle. Then repeat. Every day. Every week. Every month. Consistency compounds when responsibility is owned. Step 4. Remove excuses. Turn off the notifications. Stop making comparisons. Stop planning endlessly. Action is better than perfect plans. Movement defeats fear. Execution beats hope. You are the help you've been waiting for. Say it until it sticks. Say it until you act like it. Say it until it drives your behavior. This chapter is about more than action. It's about mindset. It's about refusing to give away your power. It's about claiming your life as your responsibility and nothing else. Fear will try to paralyze you. Doubt will whisper that you're not ready. Excuses will beg for mercy. Ignore them. Action is louder than doubt. Action is stronger than fear. Action is permanent. You have a choice. You can wait, or you can act. That's the key. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Every time you wait, you reinforce weakness. Every time you act, you reinforce strength. Every day you delay, you vote against yourself. Every day you move, you vote for yourself. This is the leverage you hold. This is the power in your hands. You are the help you've been waiting for. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Decide. On it. No excuses. No waiting. No permission. Because the only rescue comes from action. The only timing that matters is now. The only validation that counts is self-trust. You have a choice. You can let life happen to you, or you can happen to life. That's the key. Take a deep breath. Feel it. Understand it. You are the help you've been waiting for. And now, nothing can stop you. No one is coming to save you. No one is waiting to approve your greatness. Your life is yours. Own it. Act like it. Finish like it. This is the final chapter of action. The next step is inevitable. The world does not wait. Your opportunities do not wait. Your future does not wait. You've learned to stop waiting. You've learned to beat fear. You've learned to build identity. You've learned to show up repeatedly without relying on emotion. Now you must apply it, because nobody will apply it for you. You are the help you've been waiting for. No one is coming to save you. This is your life. Take responsibility. Start now. This is it. No music. No hype. Just truth. Your life changes the moment you move. Not when you feel ready. Not when conditions improve. Every day you are training yourself either to act or to delay. Either to lead yourself or betray yourself. So here is your challenge. When this audiobook ends, stand up immediately. Do one hard thing you've been avoiding. One task. One action. No delay. Because action is the line between who you are and who you could be. And the only question left is simple. Are you going to move or stay stuck? Get up and get it done. Fire.